Coming up on today's episode of Will and Sully.
Hey Sully, come here buddy. Come here buddy, come and say hello. Watch the microphone, silly. Oh, you want a goodle? Do you want a goodle? Are you ready to tell everybody at home what the best thing about the Labrador is? Are you ready to do another episode? Yeah? Are you also ready to go for a really good fun walk? Should we do that? Should we go for a really good fun walk and then tell everybody what the best thing about Labradors is? Does that sound like a plan? Yeah? Does that sound like a great plan? Now, you got to remember, Sully, that I've got a feeling that my future self is going to massively regret what we're about to do because the rain has been terrible and you have a tendency to find the muddiest, floodedest, the muddiest, floodedest part of any field that we go in and you dive headfirst into it. Now, as much as that might make for quite funny video content, I really don't fancy having to wash you again when we get back. So can we have a deal and you not go and jump in those muddy puddles? Okay? Right, come on then, let's go and have some fun. So, welcome back to Will and Sully, and if you've been following this channel, you know that these videos have kind of been a top 10 best things about the Labrador Retriever, and we are today going to be on number 8. We've already done 10, we've already done 9, but on the last video we were completely flooded in because of the floods that have been happening here in the UK, and in this little countryside village in the middle of nowhere, the only few tiny little country lanes to get into the village were all completely flooded, so we couldn't get out and do anything fun. Whereas that's cleared up a little bit and we were actually able to get out and get into the countryside, but unfortunately, like I just said, and I can already see that Sully is absolutely caked in mud, we're going to have a little bit of fun out in the countryside, out in the mud, out in the wet, but luckily it's a beautiful sunny day, so I'm definitely going to waste this opportunity. So we'll jump straight into it and we're going to talk about what the 8th best thing about the Labrador Retriever is, and instead of you just looking at my ugly mug for that entire time, I'm going to swap onto my nice cinematic lens and we'll get some beautiful footage of Sully, hopefully not getting too muddy, yet having a whale of a time in the beautiful English countryside.
So then let's chat about what I think the 8th best thing about the Labrador Retriever is, and another one of the main reasons that I chose the Labrador Retriever as my main family companion after my Bull Mastiff died. Now, if you've been watching the last couple of episodes, I'll give you a quick recap, and at number 10 I had that the Labradors are such quick learners. At number 9 I had that they are very quiet dogs that really rarely make noise, and if they do make noise it's for very good reason. And coming in at number 8 I have the Labrador's grooming needs. Now this one is a little bit of a controversial one, as a lot of people, myself included, are aware that the Labrador does shed quite a lot. Now you have to also be aware that before the Labrador I had a Bull Mastiff, and in terms of the Bull Mastiff for grooming and that kind of day-to-day keeping things clean based around a dog, I'm going to kind of put it in under the big umbrella. The Bull Mastiff obviously with those cheeks have a massive issue around drool. So for us, when we were looking for another breed, we thought it would be quite refreshing to not have a breed that drools so much, which I'm extremely happy to say that Labradors don't drool at all. Now obviously with all breeds there's exceptions to this and some breeds will drool, but Sully, if you've been watching my kind of my other channel, Will and Mabel, where I do dog training and kind of canine behaviour tips, one of the routines that I do absolutely every day with my own dogs, and one that I often try and get the people that I work with and through the consultations that I do, is around the sit, stay and break drill at meal times. Now oftentimes when you have a dog that's hungry and you put a bowl of food down on the floor underneath it while they're in a sit and stay, not only is that fantastic for things like patience, resource guarding, impulse control, as well as really building a good relationship between you and your dog, but obviously as part of that impulse control it is natural for the dog to really want that food, which is very often where drool comes in, which for my Bull Mastiff was by far the worst time we ever had with drooling. He'd be able to get drool from his cheeks down to the floor in one steady stream while he was in a sit and stay waiting for his dinner. But even at this stage my Labrador doesn't drool at all. Other than that, they do shed. All dog breeds, pretty much all dog breeds do shed, and the Labrador for a short coated dog is up there in terms of how much they shed, but nowhere near as much as a breed like a Siberian Husky or a German Shepherd, or any breed that has that kind of double coat that is just gets carpet bombs your house with fur. The Labrador, I find, as you can see why I'm out on walks like this, if I take my backpack I'll often just chuck the grooming mitt or a brush in there, And while we're out and about, I'll give them a few times a week just a quick brush down to remove any dead hair. You leave it out in the fields and the birds absolutely love it. They pick it up and use it for their nests, so the birds are happy, we're happy, and that is more than enough to keep the fur from getting everywhere in our house. So obviously with all breeds there's going to be some form of grooming requirements, but the fact that they don't drool, and also the fact that we don't need to go to a groomer for things like haircuts, is a massive bonus for me and my family, and I think it will be a massive bonus for a lot of people out there like yourself maybe, that might be researching different breeds for themselves and maybe looking seriously at the Labrador. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was my pick at number 8, but let's get back to my ugly mug down in the field.
So I only completely 100% have myself to blame that I have now got to get home. I've got to dry him off just to be able to get him up the stairs without coating the entire house in mud, then chuck him in the bath, get all the mud off him, then dry him off again. And anybody that has Labradors will know that they're not easy to dry off once they're wet. So I've just spent the last few minutes talking about how good it is the grooming requirements of a Labrador, but one big tip is if you don't want to be washing them and bathing them and drying them all the time, maybe not be as stupid as me and bring them out on kind of floodplain British countryside land, where they're going to take great pride in diving into the boggiest, mingingest, muddiest, horrible rubbish that they can find, because Labradors will take great pride in doing that. Maybe when I get onto the top 10 worst things about Labradors, maybe we could revisit this video, because that might feature quite highly. But like I say, as if that wasn't going to happen, as if I didn't know that bringing him out here he was going to do that. The problem is he absolutely loves it, and I am not one to deny a dog their kind of innate thing that they absolutely love to do. And Labradors love to get wet and muddy and chase things and go underwater, and it warms my heart seeing him so happy. So if I have to take the hit and bath him more and get all the mud off, or my house has to take a bit of a hit with a few muddy paw prints, then so be it, because I have got one very, very happy pooch right now. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here, remember we've already done the 10th best thing and the 9th best thing. This is the 8th best thing about Labradors. And we're also, funnily enough, going to go from 7 all the way down to the first best thing about Labradors. And then, like I just mentioned, I'm then going to do the top 10 worst things about Labradors. And then we're just going to carry on doing some really fun, awesome content, especially as the weather gets better here in the UK, as we are about to go in the spring. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, click like. I'm going to try and make my way back out of this bog without falling over and dropping thousands of pounds worth of camera equipment in the mud. So I'll see you on the next episode of Will and Sully.